Hello, welcome back. Tonight we're diving into the Merkaba. Now I know it sounds a little out there, so I want to ground it with something simple. When I think of the Merkaba, I think of a spinning top. You know, the ones that you flick and it'll spin and it'll stay up straight if it's spinning right. But once it gets off balance, it starts getting really wobbly and it eventually falls over. But when it's perfectly centered, it spins smoothly. And in life, to me, sometimes when my body, my mind, my spirit, they aren't in sync, I wobble. I stumble through my days. But when I come back into alignment, it feels like everything flows smoothly, sometimes almost effortlessly. And that's what the symbol of the Merkaba reminds me of, finding balance so that we can move forward with clarity and with ease. So tonight, April's going to take us deeper into the history, into the meaning, and into the energy of the Merkaba.
Yeah, it's an introduction so that we can prepare to do the meditation next week.
Super excited for that.
Yeah,
our meditations are always. You have a good voice for it.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, the information that we're going to cover tonight is actually in 2 volumes of a book series called The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life by Drunvalo Melchizedek. And it is a lot of information. So we're going to do our best to cover all of that. But if you want to delve deeper, definitely do check out his books. It is amazing.
I can share links to have like satellite service as well.
Are we back?
Oh, look at that. It works. Okay.
Woo. Hooray!
There's just so much going on. So yes, the books. I will share a link to the YouTube audio book. It's like 8 hours long, but definitely worth it. I have it saved.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuggets of truth and good meat and potatoes in there. You definitely want to check it out.
So I have a picture of the Merkaba. I know we did sacred geometry, and for those of you who don't have like picture perfect memory, this is what the Merkaba looks like.
Also called the star tetrahedron. Yeah, so it's technically 2 pyramids, 3-sided pyramids interlocking.
You can see that in the 2D drawing.
Yeah.
Those are the only pictures I saved. Yes, the Merkaba.
So yeah, it translates directly to mean light spirit vehicle. Merkaba. And it is found in some form in every ancient culture. Oh, hi, Rick. Yeah, it's found in every single ancient culture and in insane precision too. Like the flower of life and the star tetrahedron are found inscribed in stone.
In Egyptian walls.
In Sumerian tablets.
Other temples. Yeah, and some of them, they are like laser etched.
Yeah.
They're not carved into the stone. They're etched. Laser etched with heat.
Yeah, which indicate to me like resonance of some kind, right? Like a vibration so powerful that it can imprint on stone.
Yeah, it's wild because I feel like when we think back to the ancient people, they're supposed to be less primitive.
Or more primitive, yeah.
Yes, there you go. They shouldn't have the capabilities to do something like that, to move these giant stones and create such precise angles and everything else.
Yeah, we think that we have it all figured out in this day and age, but we could stand to learn something from those that came before us, definitely. And so I really liked what you said about the electricity of the human body.
Oh, yes. So I watched a beautiful little video by Billy Carson and found some fun nuggets to share. So if you think back to like the movie The Matrix, and how Neo is plugged in, and thinking about why, machines would use a human body for electricity. Well, funny enough, the human cell is at 0.07 millivolts of electricity, and we have 35 billion of those suckers. So if you times that, it's 2.65 trillion volts of electricity in one human being. We're walking nuclear explosions, guys.
Yes. We are absolutely scientifically electromagnetic beings. And so that is what makes this whole thing work. Just like Reiki means life force energy, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation without life force energy going through us. Martial arts also gives a nod to it with the chi, or the ki that they call the energy center within your body that power comes from when they throw their punches or do their kicks. This is the same energy source that we're talking about here.
We're tapping into. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Scientifically proven.
Yeah.
Proven. I love that.
And so this is the field of energy that is around each human being, but also around each animal, each plant, each crystal, each tree. It is what causes a toroidal field to be created. And so we talked about this a little bit in our last sacred geometry talks, but like the electromagnetic bands around the earth that create sort of a donut shape, that is the same thing that's happening here, because when the Merkaba spins, it creates that, which in this fractal holographic universe, that represents also our blood platelets. It also represents the shape of an apple or a peach. It represents so many different things. A good old donut, too.
We're super sensitive to this. I don't know if you've heard about it, but we have crystals in our brain. We have magnetite nanoparticles primarily in our cerebellum. I have a little picture to show where it's concentrated at.
And that's actually what causes vertigo, is if those crystals get disturbed.
Billy Carson connected it to how, before a tsunami happens, the other animals and creatures that also have these crystals in their brain are super connected to the universe. The universal consciousness, I guess. The planet's alive. They can feel it. They know well ahead of time, and they run away. We, on the other hand, humans, aren't so connected like we used to be, that when a tsunami happens, we're standing there with a selfie stick. Like, look at this, there's a tsunami coming. But we are super sensitive, so we can feel shifts.
Yeah.
I felt like that just went along with the rest of the Merkaba stuff.
Absolutely. And, there's a lot in our culture that would desensitize us to this or distract us from it. But it's more and more important to really be aware of these subtle and not so subtle vibrational fields, because we are currently being bombarded by more solar flares than we ever have been before. In the past 2 days, we've had the most strong solar flares of the past year bombarding a planet. You may have heard that there was auroras visible even further south than they usually are. You may have even got to see some of them. That is because we are literally experiencing the most amount of light information hitting our planet than we ever have in our lifetimes.
Light equals intelligence.
Yeah, so you want to touch on the waves and particles?
So we are light beings. We are light waves in solid matter. Consciousness collapses electromagnetic frequencies into solid matter. So if you think of like the double slit experiment, I know I've talked about that. And if you need, no, I didn't have a picture, but you know what, I saved it.
And yes, Stephanie, just like before it rains, certain plants turn their leaves up. Yes, sensitive, just like that. Awesome.
I had all these pictures brought up and ready. There it is.
Yeah, the double slit experiment is super fascinating. I'm sure some of you have heard of that.
So the big rundown of it is they were shooting particles through one slit, and of course, it hits the backdrop. And they're like, okay, cool, we're going to do 2 slits. And then you shoot particles, and it made 2 straight lines. And they did it with water, and water goes through the 2 slits, and it creates the waves. But the 2 slits, the waves would interact with each other, and it would cancel each other out. So you'd have this pattern of a bunch of different lines on the back. But then, when they add an observer to it, it goes back to being just 2 with I think they were shooting electrons through it.
Mm-hmm.
After that, and when you add an observer, observing,
they become particles instead of waves.
So, yeah.
It's fascinating stuff.
Then we've got the visible light spectrum, where we can see, the basic Roy G. Biv. We can see those colors, but we can't see ultraviolet and so on and so forth.
Unless you're a bee.
Yes, unless you're a bee. We see at 400 to 790 terahertz, it's like 7 trillion times a second. So we can only see that much, as opposed to the rest of the stuff. If we could see everything that was going on, all the other ultraviolet, we would not be able to comprehend what's going on around us.
Right. And same with sound, too. There are frequencies that are inaudible, like a dog whistle, or sub frequencies that, are such a small hertz that we can't hear them auditorially, but they're there.
They're there. And they affect things, even though we can't see them or hear them.
Yeah, so that's a good time to bring up the Schumann resonance, which is the frequency of the planet.
You have more to say on that than me.
Yeah, so the Schumann resonance is amazing. It was at 7.82 hertz for most of recorded history. And they track this in through NASA. They track it in Russia. They track it in Italy. And in about 2018, the Schumann resonance started to spike. And now they've linked that often to the solar flares. It makes the Earth kind of ring like a bell.
The harmony of the planet.
Yeah, it is the resonance of the Earth. And it used to be at 7.82 hertz, and now it spikes up to 100 hertz on the regular. And so we are actually receiving more vibrational codes than we ever have before. And so that's why I really wanted to share the Merkaba meditation in this time frame, because it does help process some of the light and sound information that we are receiving with our human bodies.
It's like it brings you back into alignment. Just what we're trying to do. We're not trying to be the wobbly top. Not at all. We want to be smooth and effortless.
I mean, there is a wobble to the Earth, though. It creates our seasons. So, it's interesting that maybe as we come into alignment, the Earth will as well.
I feel that with clearing out your friend group and everything in your life. Everything else seems to get easier and effortless.
True. Yeah,
the more you read through it.
It's an analogy we use in Reiki too, where you imagine the body like a river, and there might be rocks or pieces of junk that have cluttered up the flow of that river, and then you're just moving them out of the way, and you allow that flow to happen in alignment.
That's a nice analogy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Let it flow, baby.
Let it go. Let it go.
Can't hold it back anymore.
Can't hold it back anymore.
So, the Merkaba meditation, which is at the end of the second volume of The Ancient Secret of Flower of Life, it is 17 breaths, but they're probably the most structured breaths that you'll take in your life. each in-breath and out-breath has a different set that you're supposed to do with your body, with your mind, with your heart. And so that's why we needed this introduction before we dive into the meditation.
Yes, what the heck are we going to do next week, guys? What is this even about?
So it's 17 breaths, and the most important, vital part of the Merkaba meditation that Drunvalo talks about throughout his books is that its core is unconditional love. Its absolute core is what I like to call exponential love, because it's not about
unconditional.
It's not about what are the conditions that we could not put on it. It's about how can we expand in love, right?
I love that.
I'll have to call him back.
I love that though, because when you do say unconditional love, it's like, don't do that. So now you're thinking about the things that you shouldn't do and all the conditions that you could have on it that aren't on it. So instead, we're shifting the perspective to expansion.
Yeah, the exponential love frequency. And that actually is a good little nod to the third week that we're going to do, which is based on Drunvalo's book that he wrote 10 years after The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Lives. And that is called Awakening the Illuminated Heart. And it's a much more simple, slightly less structured meditation, but it goes even deeper. So that is about bringing your consciousness into your heart chakra and the expansiveness that you can get from going into that little space, because there actually is gray matter in our hearts, just like in our brains.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that would need some space in its own.
Right. That's what we were doing the third week about it. So it's just a little bird in your ear for that.
That's why next week's is a meditation, just that. And then the week after that is just the meditation to give everyone space, so we're not rushing through it and you need to press pause so you can participate or anything like that.
Right.
And then the nice thing is that this is all recorded, so if you jump in the middle, you can go back and start over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or watch it again, do the meditation again.
Thank you for joining us, Camilla.
You, Riley, Stephanie, Camilla, Rick, Judy, and Stephanie.
Thank you all for being here. So one of the things that really grounds this into the physical body is mudras. And so if any of you have done yoga or tapped into those practices, you may be familiar with mudras already.
What is a mudra?
A mudra is a hand signal that you do with your fingers. And so this is the one that you probably have seen a lot of yoga poses, namaste, etc. This is technically a mudra as well, but it connects the electrical circuit within our hands, which are a fractal representation of our whole body. If you're familiar with reflexology, this is like your base of your spine, and then this goes all the way up to your brain at the top. You've got your heart and lungs in the middle here, and stomach and stuff. So your hands and your feet and your ears and your teeth are actually a fractal representation of your entire body. And so when we do these hand symbols, it's the connection of the circuit. So the mudras that we will use in the Merkaba meditation are first finger and thumb, second finger and thumb, third finger and thumb, pinky and thumb, and then first two fingers and thumb. And then on the seventh breath, you will interlock your fingers like this. You can also, if you are a female, put your left palm on top and have it like that. Or if you are a male, right palm on top and have it like that. I personally like to do the interlocked version because it brings balance to the masculine and feminine.
I like that. Just to geek out real quick, Braden has me watching this freaking anime. It's called Fire Force. And in there, this guy, he can shoot fire through his feet. And in order to, I guess the fire just shoots out like a rocket. And so in order to go faster, he's trying to condense it. And in order to do that, he puts his thumb in and pushes it with his finger to activate his feet.
Very cool.
Wild.
Makes me think of like pew 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 pew.
Yeah. So what are the phrases? What are those called? If mudras are the hand gestures, what are the phrases?
Mantras.
Mantras.
Yeah.
Mantras, mudras.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a third one.
Well, there's yantra, tantra, and mantra.
Okay, there you go.
So yantra is the sacred geometry, the
about.
visual. Mantra is the sound, like Om, that creates the visual. And tantra is the feeling. And so a lot of times people correlate tantra with tantric sex. Mm-hmm. But it's just really talking about the feeling.
Mm-hmm. And if you've actually read any of the tantra book, it is not as much about sex as you think it would be. It is so much about connecting with your partner and creating a sacred space.
And Western culture likes to say, oh, it's just these sexy positions. But no, it is so much deeper than that. It actually talks about like the spinal fluid going up and down. And yeah, it's really fascinating to tap into that as well.
It's just wild how mainstream and popularized spirituality has become. But as much as the information is getting out there, we're losing a lot of the oomph behind it, the why. Why are we doing this? Why are we meditating? I know I'm supposed to sit crisscross, but it doesn't feel comfortable. But this is meditating, right? That's what I see. Which is why I love having this group. I love that you inspired me, lady. You inspired me so much.
Well, look at now. You're doing the same to me. So
I know. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. This is a maybe modern mudra, but
or what is the the Asian heart?
Oh, okay.
Everybody does.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of this,
or the Gen Z version.
Oh, there you go.
There's so many more mudras too. If this is something that's piquing your interest, go ahead and look it up, because there's this one, which is like grounding to the earth. There's one that's like, I believe it's like this, and that's like a lung opener. That also kind of makes a heart in the middle. There's so many out there, and a lot of yogic texts will have a lot more information about that.
And they'll be connected to sacred geometry.
Yeah, because we are the golden ratio embodied. I mean, like we said in our last video, like the proportions of your first digit to your whole finger is going to be the golden ratio, or phi, which is 1.1618, so on and so forth. And your whole arm, proportionately, your whole body, in the space between your eyes, these are all golden ratio. So it would stand to reason when we make these sacred hand symbols, we are connecting the golden ratio in different ways.
And the whole embryo thing and mitosis and creating the flower of life. And then I just found out in the video I watched, if you slice open the DNA, this is, I haven't written down somewhere. I can't think of the word.
And if you guys that are watching have any questions, feel free to type them on in the chat there.
When you cut the DNA, because you know you have the spiral like this, if you just slice a chunk of it, it's just all over in our body and
you see the seed of life there.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it is everywhere. So another thing that's really important to know for the Merkaba meditation is a little bit of knowledge about the chakras. If you have ever taken martial arts, you already know about that chi or ki center, which is 2 inches below your belly button and 2 inches in. That is also known as the sacral chakra. That is going to be one of the places that we are focused on at the beginning of our Merkaba meditation. And then we're going to bring the energy up into our heart chakra. So it's really important to have a basic understanding. We've got the colors of the rainbow as they go up our body. So the root chakra is red, that is our grounding. Sacral chakra, orange, and that is our creativity and our sensuality, our sexuality. Chi. We've got the solar plexus, which is our drive and our joy. It can also be ego and greed if out of balance. It's that solar radiation right about here. And then the heart chakra, which is kind of the vortex point of the toroid. And then the throat chakra, which is expression. The third eye, and that's blue. The third eye is purple, which is our intuition and our intellect. And then we've got the crown chakra, which they will say is violet or white. And that is our connection to our higher self, source, God, whatever you perceive that to be. So yeah, the first 7 breaths of the Merkaba are about clearing your channels. You also do have 6 electrical meridians that run through you. I probably just tapped the mic. Sorry if that was loud. But yeah, they run through our arms. They run through the front of our body, the back of our body, and our legs. And when you do these mudras, you're going to look up toward the ceiling, even with your eyes closed, and then look down as you breathe out. And that is clearing those channels. So the first 7 breaths of the Merkaba.
I'm so familiar with the meridian lines.
Yeah, so that's what acupuncture uses.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I know. There's so much to
and you
this.
have so many more chakras all over your body, but those are the main ones, the ones that you see on all the pictures.
Yes, and that correlates with our known spectrum of light, the Roy G. Biv, as we were talking about. But yes, they are in our palms, they're in our feet, they're above our head. Yeah,
there's billions further on that spectrum. The 700 to 790, there are billions more tetrahertz frequencies to see.
Yes, which is fascinating. And so on a scientific physiological level, the chakras correlate with like these nerve clusters. And that is actually something that can be measured in hertz and scientifically as well.
So it's not just all woo-woo. This is connected to science, which is connected to us, people.
Yeah, and it is all vibration. Like, we wouldn't be sitting here right now if it weren't for vibration. And our skin is vibrating.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. Our atoms can't physically touch you.
We are
because of our electrical process. I'm not touching you.
Boop.
Oh my gosh, guys, you've been booped.
Rick says, I love seeing the mudras that naturally present themselves as you listen to one another. Wit did one for grounding. Yes. And we're not talking about gang signs here, people. Oh, this is fun. I feel like we could talk for a lot longer. Yeah, so we've covered a lot. Do you have anything else that you want to throw in there?
Bumping around. I knew we were going to do this too. When I take notes, guys, I take so many notes. Don't need to say them all. Crystals in our brain. Talked about those. I don't know. Do you want to explain more about
the Merkaba itself? Okay, so one thing that's really important that I have written in my notes here is that there are actually 3 star tetrahedrons or Merkabas in this meditation to create the whole spinning toroidal field matrix. And so one of them is going to be aligned with the sun, and one of them is going to be aligned with the earth, and then one of them is going to be stationary. Yes. And we kind of covered last time about for females or, born females. I know some of you might be somewhere in between on the spectrum. And so feel free to do whatever resonates with you in that
We
instance.
went over the sacred masculine and feminine and the whole, we are yin yang, we have it all in us.
Right.
But
so
it does correlate, one of the triangles does correlate to the fire, to the sun, to the masculine energies. And the other one.
The other way around. Yeah. Yeah. And so one of the way that it's been described is like for females, the earth tetrahedron has the point facing forward, and that's because we have room for a womb in front. Whereas men have that facing upwards for like more of their spearheading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That action energy.
Yeah. The yang.
It's more electrical, represents heaven, the masculine, fire, the sun, and then the feminine, just like in yin and yang, the moon, water, earth.
Yeah.
Magnetic energy.
Yeah. The yin. Yes. And so.
It's funny how they all correlate like that.
Right.
It's like it wasn't just decided by one person.
It's like we've been living in a polarized universe.
Yes, it's funny how the feminine is always connected to the moon and the masculine is always connected to the sun.
There are a couple cultures that do have it the other way. And I'm forgetting which ones they are at the moment, but I found that super interesting that not every culture has ascribed them to the same. But that being said, all of us have both energies, and then we also have a stationary star tetrahedron. So we're going to have the one that's spinning, and then the other one that's spinning the other way, and then one that's stationary in there, and that's super important.
Counter directions.
Yeah, and there are ratios that they spin to as well. And so when we get to the point where they are spinning, we're going to have the upper shock, or the upper tetrahedron, going at a ratio of 34 times around, whereas the bottom one is going to be going 21 times around. And that's going to create an expansion of your energy field out to a radius of 55 feet. And so 21, 34, and 55, those are all numbers on the Fibonacci sequence. Which is how you get the golden ratio that we were talking about, or phi.
That we see everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. In the unfurling of a fern, or how you pour your milk in your coffee and it swirls like that. You've probably seen some of the funny memes where like the girl's like tossing her hair in the water and then mapping out the spiral. Like, those are super fun. Yeah. So I read The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life back in 2009, and then I wrote it all out, and I knew the meditation, but it still took me a couple years before I actually did the whole thing.
You spent how long on this?
Let's see. So I moved to Montana in 2013, and I finally got my Merkaba established in 2014. So it was about 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years of deep diving into this information and then perfecting the meditation. And then from there, I did that meditation every day for 6 years. And gosh, let me tell you, you can learn a lot from doing something every day for 6 years.
Absolutely.
So it's very exciting to be able to share this with you guys. I've got to share it in a few tight-knit meditation groups over the years, but this is a real treat to be able to share it on this platform with you guys. Thank you, Whitney.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. So some amazing experiences that I've had with the Merkaba meditation is in his book, Drunvalo talks about how there are 17 breaths that are written out for you, in breaths and out breaths. And then there's also an 18th breath, and that is something that only your higher self can give you. And it was probably about 3 years before my higher self gave me the 18th breath, and I was able to expand on that. But we are in a really accelerated time right now. We are receiving the solar flares. Like I said, we're also in the photon band, which means that we're receiving light information from the center of our galaxy. And so this plays a part in activating our electromagnetic being selves in a lot faster way. So don't be surprised if it doesn't take you, 8 years to get to that 18th breath. And that's also why we're going to do the Awakening the Illuminated Heart meditation the week after, because it is something that's already innate within us. Some of you probably already have this system up and active without even realizing it. So we're just honing in on what is already there.
Why would you spend so much time with the Merkaba meditation? Why? Why would you do that over and over and over?
Because you get something different every time.
Super familiar with like going to YouTube and finding a meditation to like center ourselves, or a meditation for love or stress or to go to sleep. But I don't feel like the daily practice of meditating is out there as much. I don't feel like it's a part of everybody's practice, but the more that you get into it, I feel like the more questions come out.
So when I started doing it, it would take me probably a half hour to an hour to really tap in and do it properly. And once I got proficient with it, I could do it in about 3 minutes. Amazing things would come through. And like you said about the top spinning, I would feel aligned in my daily life, and things would come easily and effortlessly instead of wobbling all over the place. And then I've had the most incredible things be downloaded to me through this meditation, including exact coordinates of where to go on some sacred missions. I've had people that I hadn't met yet come to me and show themselves in that space. And Drunvalo actually talks about some really incredible experiences where he's been teaching this. And I might add too that for a long time, Drunvalo and the people that were trained in this, they would charge the hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to learn this information. And you can sit there and study it from the book. And I think that's part of what took me so long too, was like when you read it in text versus having somebody. Yeah. And so one of the things that was super useful was I went to a festival back in 2010, and they had a star tetrahedron built out of PVC pipe. And you could stand in the middle of it and experience what it felt like to be in that field. Because a lot of times when you are just imagining something, you imagine it outside of yourself. But you're going to want to be inside this star tetrahedrons. That makes sense. So yeah, it took a while to like really wrap my brain around it. And I'm hoping that I can maybe accelerate some of that for you guys. What is Braden saying here? I want to comment. Oh, I can't, but you guys are doing awesome. Oh. Oh, thanks for being here, Braden. Yeah, so some of the amazing experiences that Drunvalo talks about in the Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life. He also has another book called Serpent of Light, which is about the Earth's Kundalini and his sacred journeys around the Earth. Super fascinating. Would highly recommend reading anything you can by Drunvalo Melchizedek. Very tapped in. But he talks about one time where he was up on a plateau and he was teaching the Merkaba meditation. And suddenly they were having flyovers of like helicopters surveilling. And so they asked to program their Merkabas with a field of protection and invisibility. And suddenly those helicopters not there anymore. And so you can actually ask your Merkaba to do anything you want as long as it's within that container of unconditional exponential love, and it doesn't harm anyone. Like, you can ask for protection, you can ask for direction, you can ask for creativity, you can ask for all of these different things. And so I hope that answers your question a little bit of why would I want to continue doing this as a daily practice. Is like, it is a toolbox that is as varied as you could imagine. Another one of his incredible experiences, he talks about getting special permission to go into the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid in Egypt. And they, in ancient Egypt, made people go through mystery schools. And he talks about this a lot in his books too, where you would have to be initiated, because in the king's chamber, your manifestations happen instantly. And so if you don't have control of your mind and your body, and you think, oh gosh, I'm afraid of a snake, all of a sudden you're covered in snakes. But if you think about like the best thing that you can think about, then all of a sudden that's going to be rewarded to you, because your manifestations happen so quickly. And so he got this special permission to go into the king's chamber, and it's dark in there and it's tiny.
Braden's question. Can you ask for others to receive a strong, growing lesson with love?
I mean, this is more about your own field of light. Yeah.
This is more about you.
Super interesting when I saw Alex and Allison Gray, famous artists, painting live down at Red Rocks. I could see that their Merkabas were actually interwoven, and they've been together for so long and done so much together that they were like one field of light. They still had two Merkabas, but they were completely conjoined. So that was really beautiful. So to answer your question, Braden, I think that it's more like, if you have two equal and willing parties, then you can merge Merkabas. But if you are trying to influence somebody else with your energy, that's not what it's about. Yeah, I mean, you can influence by being an example, but I wouldn't take your energy and put it on someone else. Does that make sense?
It's wild. So in the video that I was watching by Billy Carson, he was talking about how our DNA can store digital information, and there are scientists that had taken an entire 300 and some odd page book and stored it in a piece of DNA. And I didn't write down the number, but our bodies can store like 35 million years worth of information inside of our body. So like all of existence is stored within our body. And apart from that, he was talking about frequencies and how, the show I Love Lucy, that's still being broadcasted into space. So if another species out there could take that frequency and decode it, they could watch I Love Lucy. So when people talk about getting downloads or uploads, we are physically, scientifically capable of receiving those downloads. So I feel like in the practice of your meditation, I feel like you're accessing information that's there, that you're receiving downloads.
Absolutely.
Coming to a deeper understanding. I mean, when you reread books, you get a deeper understanding of what that book has in it. So practicing your meditation, you could get a deeper understanding, a more powerful download.
Yeah, absolutely.
If Braden wants to come on, he's asking to come on.
Yeah, before you click add, I just wanted to finish, we didn't finish the King's Chamber thing and why that was important.
Yes.
And so the reason it was important why Drunvalo and his team were using the Merkaba meditation in the King's Chamber is because it was pitch black. And because of this meditation, they were able to light it up. They could physically see because of the Merkaba meditation. And when they stopped doing their Merkaba, they were surprised that all of a sudden they were in pitch blackness again because they had been sitting there for so long in the light that they were just used to it at that point.
That's wild.
Isn't that amazing?
Wild.
Yeah.
That's funny because Billy Person was talking about something similar, but he was saying that like your brain's all up in here and it's dark. It's dark. Your brain's in the dark, and it has these friends, and these friends are your senses. And it says to its friends, "Hey guys, go get this information and bring me back all this data." And then it comes, and then you know the information like 7 seconds before it actually happens, and like nothing that you see is in real time. What I see of April is not how she is. She's already moved by the time my brain's receiving the information.
Light bulb.
Yeah. All right, Brayden, I see you. I hear you. Go away. There we go.
I hope this works because we do not have Wi-Fi in this location.
But it's going to split our screen, and our heads are up here, so Brayden's going to be down here, right? Yeah.
Hello. Oh my gosh.
Brayden!
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. I can't see you guys, but
You
I
can't
wanted
see me,
to
but
touch
that's how it works.
I wanted to touch on the bit about Whitney talking about digital storing information. And that reminds me, I mean, same, but different, right? It's not quite digital, but one of the things that I like to do or learn to do is use the knowledge of the body when you're doing energy work to pass that knowledge on to other bodies so that they know how to work in tandem with what you're trying to help them heal from, if it's something your body has healed from, like COVID, for example.
Are you trying to clarify on your comment that you're not trying to put bad juju on people?
Oh no. It's just more like I'm not here to intend people's lives, but I'm so here to influence it, right? So an ambiance of like learning energy that is just always about me when people step into that aura field, they get the opportunity for a good lesson. And it might just be stronger if they need it to be stronger, is all I'm saying. So like you could ask for that influential energetic signature when you know you're going to be working with somebody or meeting somebody who is extremely stubborn or hard-headed, and like maybe it will allow them to open up to the power of suggestion and understanding.
Leading by example is powerful too.
Yep. I don't know. It's a little bit different than leading by example, right? Like you're always leading by example, but I feel like it's no different than asking for guidance when talking to somebody. You know, you may even be putting that same energetic field about you without realizing it by asking for guidance for the right words.
Yeah, I think the only delineation would come in just never influencing free will.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, I'm about that.
Yeah, I think that's where I sit with that. I don't know. I feel a lot of pushback from what you're saying. Like,
Tell me.
I feel like people that aren't receptive to whatever you're saying or teaching, or you feel like they need a stronger lesson, they're not ready. So they're not at that place where they can receive that, even if they think they want that. Like people
Okay, here's
say
the.
all the time that I want a better guy, I want this, I want that, but they haven't gone through the things that they're
All right,
still working through to
let me
have
throw
a
another
better person.
And
let me throw
on
another perspective at you. What if you're
what
dealing with a really hard-headed ex and there's nothing you can do? You've got to deal with that hard-headed ex because kids are involved or what have you. In those moments, you could ask for that field of understanding to be with you. So it's not necessarily that you're asking for somebody to have another lesson. Well, I don't know. I mean, to each his own. This is where I like to sit in the gray
yeah,
with it.
that's where the free will gets to be in the mix because you can ask for yourself to have a deeper level of understanding.
Approach it and with your most aligned self.
But they
Yeah.
may be aligned in a way that you're not, and you're just on two different frequencies, and neither is better or worse. And so if you go about it thinking, oh, they should have a deeper understanding of me, but without you having a deeper understanding of them, then you're going to have more clash. That makes
See,
sense.
but there is no me or them. It's just understanding. And ambiance of understanding isn't, I need them to understand me or I need me to understand them. It's just allow understanding to come forward. Whether it's you
I feel
first or
like
them
that's
first
still
doesn't
all
matter.
perspective.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
everything's
and
perspective.
yeah, so if they're incapable of seeing it from your perspective or from the perspective that you're trying to have shared
Okay,
with them,
so if you ask for it and there's still no breakthrough or of understanding, then you know it's a moot point and they're just where they're at until somebody else comes along. And that's totally accepting. But like you can always give the good old college try, if you will.
as long as you're being respectful of their own free will and their autonomy and their sovereignty, which I know is something that you're
100%.
not.
Yep, definitely. Like I said, we're not trying to like enforce it or make it so. Just bring it
Kind of
about. And
sounded
if it
like it,
happens,
Braden.
awesome. What's
It,
that?
it's, it kind of sounded like it, Braden.
Yeah, I know, but I sit in the gray, you guys. So like things are always going to be questionable when I'm thinking about how to put them to people. Because I'm not gonna lie,
Oh,
like I don't mind putting things to people. It's not necessarily me intruding on their free will, but it's no different than any other experience that we have in life. We have the choice to accept it or push it away. We have the choice to find the lesson in it or walk away from it, realizing there's no lesson to be had. Right? So I'm just
you can't
presenting the
see it, but we're making
opportunity.
gestures.
But
I'm sorry. You're kind of a
we're what?
pot stirrer, yes, indeed.
Yes, indubitably. What's life without stirring the pot a little bit, you know?
I'm not forcing them. I'm just stirring shit up.
Yeah, it's kind of like, uh, no, I don't have a good analogy yet.
I think personally that it's more about resonance and harmonics. And so if you are on the same wavelength as somebody, you're going to have an easier time bridging those gaps and,
Agreed.
making it not us versus them, not you versus me, two ends of a spectrum of an us and a we. But if you are resonating at two different frequencies, that's when you're going to find the butting of heads. I
Okay.
feel like it's
Yeah,
almost
most
like,
definitely. That makes sense.
arguing color theory with somebody who doesn't paint or is colorblind. Or is colorblind.
I don't know.
You could
Color
try
theory with
and get
somebody who
the
doesn't
point
paint would
across
be
or
fun,
try
though.
and come to an understanding, but it's just,
Do I not have the auto rotate on?
oh, well, I can't. Oh no.
I do.
Rick, hi. Are you just getting a good little cleavage shot, guys? From my point of
I'm
view, it
trying to
looks
make
like
my
we're
phone
looking at
do
heads.
things, but it won't do anything.
Can you see our head, Rick? Or are you just looking at cleavage?
I like that.
Hi, Rick. Braden can't see us, and we can't see Braden, so I wonder if we get like right. Just tattoos on the shoulders. If we put our heads together, can you see us now?
I wish I could see this.
You'll see the playback. It looks interesting, and you'll feel my little hand gesture.
It's wild that adding people to the live does that.
It is funny. We don't know unless we try it.
I want to know
Right.
why my
You were.
phone won't like switch.
I did it with
Rotate.
Braden at one point when he left town. But yeah, I think you were like the first time that we did three people. Yeah, that was interesting for sure. I feel like, oh, and the other thing that I wanted to touch on with doing the meditation over and over, I feel like we have learned to become really good test takers.
Ooh.
So we memorize the answers, can ask you what's 2 times 2, what's 5 times 5. And we can pull that memory because we've memorized the answers. We've done the multiplication tables. 25. Good job. You get the sticker.
Oh, I was gonna say 20.
Are you on separate platforms like mobile, web? No, just cell phone to
No,
cell
it's all
phone.
web.
Yeah.
It
Hi,
might be
Felicia.
because it's because of my Fold 7. Like it's a different screen format from the rest of everybody. I wonder. Give me a second. I might disappear. You might have to re-add me, but let me try something.
Okay. I think we're getting close to the end of our talk. We've covered a lot of ground today.
Yes, but we've become really good test takers. So we know 2 times 2, we know 5 times 5, but the understanding why. Why does 2 times 2 equal 4? Why are we meditating like this? Why are we using the mudras that we are using? Why are we saying the
Mantras.
The mantras, there you go. Why are we saying the mantras? Why are we talking about energetic fields and frequencies? Why does it matter? So learning the why, I feel like, transcends our experience in life.
100%.
So get out of the test taker mode. It's not just a meditation to do one time and then, whatever, and then wonder why I'm not aligned because I did it one time. We are working on our inner selves, and that affects our outer selves.
And our electromagnetic connection with the electromagnetics that are around us all the time. We're constantly being bombarded. We're constantly being bombarded by all sorts of electromagnetic frequencies, from the rumble of the traffic to the radiation from our cell phones to loud concerts to everything in between, from the microwave in your kitchen.
The constant noise. Do you ever? I know I do. When it's quiet, there needs to be background noise. I'm not used to this.
Yeah. One time when I was in my early 20s, I was working at a mall selling cell phones at Christmas time and hadn't had a day off in like 3 weeks. And then I went out from the city to my parents' farm, and the silence was deafening. I felt like I could crawl out of my skin because I went from sensory overload to nothing. And so this is a way to balance our electromagnetic field.
It makes me think of the story you told me the other night with the church. What is the lesson you were going to teach?
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that is it kind of is going to be the opportunity that you. I feel like it's the opportunity that you provide when you do meditations. It is.
Yes.
That silence is critical.
Yeah, so when I was a teenager, I went to a performing arts summer school that was Christian based for 5 years. And the last year that I went, last 2 years, I was a counselor. And I was really questioning my faith at the time. And they said every counselor has to teach a chapel at 6 a.m. at some point during this 3-week performing arts camp. And I was very hesitant to do so. I didn't want to influence these kids and have them be upset, that I shifted their views on God or whatnot. And so I stayed up all night poring over the Bible, thinking, like, what am I going to teach this chapel on? And I walked into that chapel room at 6 a.m. and it was just like literally a divine light hit me. And I said, let's just listen to the silence and see what God has to say to us. And that was the most pivotal chapel of the 3 weeks that we were there. These kids were crying and laughing and calling their moms and dads because they had such powerful experiences just by tuning into the silence and the higher power, however they perceive that to be, however you perceive that to be. And so, yeah, when you meditate, it is an opportunity for you to attune to those more subtle energies that are going on within you all the time and around you all the time.
Unplugging, sitting in the silence for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I feel that, oh my gosh, I need to put on some background music. It's like, hey, Whitney, just take a couple breaths. Silence isn't so bad. Your ears have been ringing because your music's been too loud. You notice?
Silence is golden.
Relax your shoulders. Did you realize they were tense? I'm gonna do that forever, guys.
And I think that's really a vital point to mention too, is like when you have a toddler and they are asking why all the time, you can tell a toddler till you're blue in the face, don't touch that because it's hot. But then when you say because you're going to get burned and they understand that, suddenly they don't want to touch the hot thing anymore.
You need to tell somebody about being burned if they don't know what being burned is or what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's wild to think of. I hadn't even thought of that. Good thing mine are all grown. They
So,
have
yeah.
experience what being burned feels like. We have a fireplace.
I may have done that as a child myself. But yeah, the why is just as important as the how, if not more so.
Did you ever do anything crazy as a kid? This is totally way off base, but it just brought back like a clear memory. Why? 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 I don't know why. I wanted to know why or what would happen. But I very distinctly remember grabbing my dad's razor. Oh, and pulling it down my tongue. Like, why? What's it gonna do? Why can't I do it? I'm just gonna lick this razor.
Right?
And I did. And I cut the crap out of my tongue.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, mine was, I think my mom was baking cookies and I was really excited about the cookies. And she said, don't touch the oven. But I went up there with my hands, just like printed right on there. And I was, and then my dad's dragging me to the sink to wash it under cold water. And I'm thinking, he's crazy. Why is he dragging me across the floor? But then as soon as he put it under the water, I'm like, oh, this is why.
Cold. Why does the cold water burn?
Yeah, and isn't that interesting? Because these dualities really are just a spectrum. And if you get hot enough, you will feel cold. And if you get cold enough, you will feel hot. And that is the same with most dualities, really. Like it is a circular spectrum, and the two opposites are really just
Like the two tetrahedrons. Yep. The earth and the sun. And the sun.
yeah.
Grounding and the inspiration.
Yeah, a wonderful analogy is a tree. And so they are grounded into the earth, and then they are also reaching up toward the sky. And
That pillar of stability in between.
yep. And they've got xylem and phloem flowing up and down, just like we have toroids flowing up and down their energy. Wow. I'm so excited. So be like a tree, guys.
So next week, we're doing a meditation. We're not just going to jump right into it. When you join the live, we're going to sit for a little bit and go back over this and get grounded and get ready, maybe some clearing breaths. So if you want to join in tomorrow, bring a pillow, bring some tea, bring an open mind and an open heart. Come sit with us tomorrow for April's meditation.
Next week, right?
Next week.
Next week, Wednesday.
Did I say that?
You said tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
That's all right. It won't be tomorrow. It'll be next Wednesday.
Next week, Wednesday.
Yeah, and the best advice I could give you too is try to be in a space where you're not going to be interrupted. You're not going to have people coming in and out and distracting you. Next week.
Yes, this is next week. Sorry, guys. And if you can't join in at 7:30, you have the opportunity to watch the playback for a whole month before Facebook deletes it. And then you'll have to jump over to my YouTube page where I'll save everything and you can go watch it there.
Hey there.
All of
Yeah.
them saved in a YouTube account. Yes,
That's awesome. Yeah. Make sure you share the link on this particular video on
Okay.
YouTube.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Good idea. Put it in the comments. Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Woo! Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.